reading text files into Java. This is an example Java program. At the beginning of the program, the file class and scanner class are imported using the import statements here. It's just standard code for making sure that this program can work. I've called the class ReadFile, and I've written a public static void main function here, throwing exception. So throws exception just means error handling. I've created my first object. I've declared two objects here. The first object I've declared is myFile. I've declared this as a file object, and this links to this piece up here. And the second object I've declared is called scan1, and this is a scanner object, and that relates to this bit here. I then instantiate these objects. So for my file here, I've got a new file using the text file artists.txt. Okay, so new file with this parameter will create a new file object called myFile. Using the myFile object, I then pass this to the scanner function here. So the scanner method, I should say, uses the myFile object that I've already created, instantiates it using the word new, and then saves it as scan1. So scan1 is a new scanner object based on the object myFile. This bit here is a while loop, and this will carry on until it gets to the end. What it does is it tests to see if the scan1 object has the next line. So this basically checks to see if this statement here is true. So it's a bit like saying it's true like that, although in this case it wouldn't work. So what that's saying is, while scan1 has next line is true, whilst there is a next line to read, in other words. If there is a line to read, then it creates a string object called data for good measure, and data will store the value of the next line, which is inside the scan object. And then this function here just prints out what it reads. It'll go back into the loop again to see if there's another line to read. And if there is another line to read, then again it goes through the same process, storing the next line as the string data, and then printing out the string data until it gets to the end of the file when there's nothing else to read. When that happens, it jumps out of the while loop, and then it's just the scan1 close function here to close the scanner object. So if I run the file, you see that there's an error because it can't find the artists.txt file. So that needs to be created. So in order to do that, if you just go into C drive, then go into your user area, so go into the users folder, assuming you're using Windows, then go into the folder with your username on, and then find the eclipse-workspace folder, and then find the project folder where the Java files are kept. So in this example here, my project folder is called lesson 1, 2, 3, and so on. This project folder here is called revision. So if I go into this folder here called revision, okay, you'll see that for example, the source folder, ReadFile.java, is this file here. So it's ReadFile.java is all of this. Okay. So what I need to do is make sure that I'm in the right place. So I'll go back again, go into the project folder, and then once you're in the project folder, you can right click and go new text document. This one's got to be called artists. I'll just put some artist's name in there as well. So just save that file. Okay, so that's the artist.txt file there. My Java file is in this folder. So it needs to be in this folder here. So if I go back to Eclipse here and then just run the program, you see it's now read the file into Java. You'll see that this is the kind of key area here where it's creating these objects. You can combine lines 16 and 17. If I copy this bit, and instead of putting my file in here, I paste it in there instead. So basically I've copied this into this section here. And then I just delete this line. And delete that line as well, I don't need that one. So that combines the two lines together, and that will do the same thing. Okay, just reads new file from artists.txt, creates a scanner object, and then stores it as scan1. Then using the scan1 object, I can then use a while function to go around in a loop to output the contents of the file.